Mark here. This is my Omega Speedmaster Reduced. One of my favorite, probably one of my top 5 of all the watches I have. I would say this one is probably in the top 5. I'm not going to say probably is. It is in my top 5. When I the first chronograph that I ever worked on was, I believe it was from the 1960s. It was the professional model, the Moon watch, and I fell in love with that watch inside and out, but I really loved just the design, the simplicity of just how this chronograph is laid out, the dial, the bezel, everything about it is just, to me, very, very beautiful. And I got this one. Well, let me show you something, maybe if I can do this. So this was the first. I had to get this back at the time, and you can see the prices of the parts that I wrote down there, and then I highlighted the parts that I needed for that watch. This was the movement was the 861, and there it is. That's the column wheel mechanism. Great mechanism. So anyway, I still have these. I keep these in my best fit books. I always need to have the best fit books. Those are really nice to have, even though they're old and falling apart. And you can see a bunch of stuff that I'm working on there in the background, so let me zoom back in. There it goes. Alright, so we're talking about this watch, not the crap lying on my table here. So yeah, I really just love the design. Everything about this watch is nice. You can see this is not one of the newer models with the coaxial movement. I did get this at a discount price, and you can see that because it wasn't working at the time, and I'll go into that when I show the movement. But you know, just that sweep, second counter hand, and then you can see over here is the minutes, and as this one reaches 12 o'clock, it doesn't snap into position. It gradually just kind of glides to the first minute tick there. And the same thing with the hour, but I'm not going to sit here for an hour to show you that. You stop, reset, didn't want to reset right. And that happens every once in a while. I don't know why. You know, I did have to do a complete overhaul on the movement, but that shouldn't affect it. There it goes to the right position. So the clasp right here, the back of the movement with that seahorse thing, whatever that is, and then you can see, and I'm going to go into this when I show the movement also, you can see the pushers are raised higher than the crown. So on the professional, they are all in a straight line, and I will explain that when I show the movement. So anyway, going over the specs on this watch, because I haven't done that yet, I've just been boasting about it for the most part. So it is 39 millimeters, which is also why it's referred to as the reduced. It's the automatic, but it's also referred to as the reduced because of the smaller size over the professional. This is a model 3510.50. Lug to lug is 44 millimeters. Lug width is 18 millimeters. And the thickness on this thing is 12 millimeters. This does not have the sapphire crystal either. And I'll go into the details on the movement when I show that, but just, I think, a gorgeous looking watch. I would like to have the professional, but you know, I'll do a video on that in 10 years when I can afford it. Alright, taking a look inside the Speedmaster Reduced. This is essentially 2 parts. So you have the movement is a ETA 2892-A2, and then there's 3 screws. 1, 2, that's a case screw, 3, and those hold the movement on. So it's just a base movement with some modifications to fit into this below here is a Dubois-Dupraz module for the chronograph. So it's two pieces. So if you just need to repair or service the movement, you can remove that without having to take the dial off, take the hands off, take all of that stuff off. So like I said, when I got it, it wasn't working. I did a service on the movement, and I knew that wasn't the case really, because I figured I'd already had it out. It didn't stop. So the issue was in the module. I had to take the module out to find out where the problem was, and I broke two of the hands, the counter hands for the chronograph, the hour and the minute. So I had to buy two of those, which were expensive, getting the genuine Omega parts. And took the whole thing apart. I think it took me 3 days to, not necessarily to service the chronograph part, but to figure out how to put the damn thing back together after I had it apart. It was, for the most part, a pain in the ass, as far as there's a little, I guess, L-shaped piece that's held in place, or it butts up to a little tiny spring. There's a brass collet that holds down one of the pushers. And anyway, you're probably not interested in it, but the problem that I was having, that I needed to figure out, was there's a little brass collet, and not only does it hold down a pusher, it holds down a couple other pieces, and I didn't push that collet down far enough, so the plate wasn't fitting right and the pushers weren't working. Anyway, obviously I did get it figured out and got the thing back together. Not my favorite chronograph design. I do prefer the column wheel type design on these mechanical chronographs, but it is a pretty looking little machine. I don't want to do another one anytime soon, that's for damn sure. But it is running at 28,800 BPH, and I believe it's 45 joules. Let me see if I can bring it up there so that you can see it. Yep, there it is, 45 joules. Yeah. And another issue that I have with these movements, since we're getting into issues, problems, and pains in the asses that I run into, and it's not just, I have others. I have the Eternomatic that has a similar movement, is it has the hacking feature for the second hand, and that's just a brass wishbone shaped thing that is held in place by the self-winding, the automatic portion of this thing. And if you take this off, well, the whole assembly off, and you flip the watch so it's dial up, that thing just falls out. It's not screwed into place, it's not held into any place except for this, and they usually tend to forget that, even though I've worked on so many of these damn things, and they fall out, and you got to remember to pick them up and put it back before you put this back on. Otherwise you have to take that back off, put that back on, or you're just going to say, I don't even use the hacking mechanism or the hacking part of this, and just leave it out. And so let me grab the case back so you can see the inside of that. You can see there, stainless steel Omega watch, and the number codes and all that other stuff. Could probably buff that out. I know I can buff it out. But anyway, so there is the inside of the Speedmaster. Alright, so there it is on my wrist. 39 millimeter case size on my 6.5 inch wrist. 12 millimeters thick. Just, I think, a beautiful watch. Just basic, no day, no date, nothing to try to be fancy, just kind of, this is what it's supposed to be, this is what it is. Some people refer to certain watches as tool watches. I think every single watch is a tool watch because it has a a certain thing that it has to do, and all watches do that. Even the cheapest piece of crap does that. So just, I think, again, one of my top 5, easily top 5 favorites. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you did, click like, subscribe, comment. Thanks. Bye.